Our Janine Lassant gets another update from a local school today as we learn about the hard work being done by students, parents, and staff to keep in-person learning going at Holy Family Academy in Hazleton. Here's Janine's interview with HFA Principal Jason Tribbett.
We wanted to touch base with you, see how we're doing with in-person learning, one of the few schools in the greater Hazleton area that has actually been in-person learning since the start of the school year.
We have been. We started right off the bat in the beginning of the year. So far, knock on wood, we've been very fortunate. We had two time frames right after Thanksgiving and Christmas where we went virtual for 1 week, just as a precaution with holiday gatherings. But for the most part, our students have been fantastic, following all our protocols. Our staff has been great, and our families have been tremendously supportive of everything that we've been doing. So, I think we've been very fortunate so far.
I'm sure there have been challenges with teachers trying to teach and students trying to learn.
Mm-hmm.
What are some of the difficulties that your school has faced?
At the end of last year, when we were forced to go virtual, and everybody was, with the pandemic, I think it unfortunately set some kids back. We did offer virtual instruction right from the get-go, which I think helped somewhat. But getting the students back in person, not only academically, but it helps them socially. And I think that is something that we're forgetting about, the students' social development and mental health. And having them here in person gives them some, normality of everything that's going on. And, our teachers have been great with providing lessons, that kind of spilled in from last year, to start this year to get the kids ramped up and ready to go. And we've been full steam ahead. We've been going, like I said, since the beginning of the year. And, our students have been doing fantastic with our, even when we went virtual, they've been doing fantastic. And now in person, I have really no complaints from our staff standpoint, our student standpoint, and from our families.
When there is an isolated case, or how have you been handling those cases?
Well, the diocese had some tremendous guidelines for us to start the year. They established a health and safety committee with staff, administrators, teachers, physicians, and they had set that right from the get-go. And we've been adjusting as things have changed because, as you know, every week there's something new that comes out, and we've been constantly adjusting and adapting our protocols. But in the case of somebody testing positive, we go through our process with the Department of Health to see if anybody else that had close contact that would also need to quarantine. Fortunately, we've had not seen any spread within our school. We've had a few positive cases, but nothing that started within the school or spread within the school. So it came from outside of the school, at home. So the family or the student, the staff member would also need to quarantine if they have tested positive. Anybody with direct contact would also have to quarantine for 10 days. If a family member tests positive, the student would then have to stay home for potentially 10 to 20 days. It's 20 days if they have continued contact with the household member. If they're completely isolated from the family member, it would be only 10 days. But, as you know, it's hard if you're in the same household to completely isolate yourself. So typically we've seen a 20-day quarantine when that has happened within a positive case within the household. We also have travel restrictions in place. So if any student leaves the state, they have to quarantine for 10 days. And unlike the Department of Health, we do not allow a negative test to return. They have to quarantine for the 10 days if they travel outside the state.
We hope and keep our fingers crossed that in September we'll be back to some normalcy with the vaccine out. Till that time, what is your message to your students, to your faculty, to parents?
Continue doing what we're doing. I think everybody is taking this seriously. They're following our protocols, our precautions, because they know the importance of being here in person. They may not agree with some of the things that we're doing or have to do for their students, but they're following it because they know the importance of being here in person, and they know just one little case or slip up could potentially cause us to go completely virtual if something happens within the school. So everybody's taking this seriously. We have pre-K students all the way up to 8th grade that are following all these protocols and doing it very well. I can't describe to you how impressed I am with especially our younger students. those pre-K, kindergarten, first grade students that are wearing their mask every day. They're keeping a safe distance when they're, walking in the hall. I was so unsure when we started the year how this was going to go, but seeing everything that they've done and they're able to accomplish with the help of our staff, teaching them and helping them along the way, we've been very, very fortunate.
Today's news feature is brought to you by Feisner's Ford in Freeland, who is celebrating 75 years in business. Give them a call at 570-636-3920, or you can log on to feisnersford.com.